I set everything up to be able to go live, and I start at 10 o'clock. Believe it or not, I put on my face and I get ready to talk to you. Hi, Bathsheba. Oh, that's a good name, Bathsheba. You are a temptress, right? Anyway, David's falling in love with you everywhere. So today I'm going to talk about balance. How important is balance? Balance is something that gradually robs us of control of life. What I mean by that is that there is balance comes in all shapes and sizes, right? Balance. You got to balance your work and your life schedule. Good morning, pretty girl. But you have to balance that. You got to balance your friends and your family. You got to balance your nutrition, what you eat, fruits and vegetables or meat. You got to balance your emotions. You got to just, but guess what? We got to balance our physical ability. So I think the way it manifests itself in our bodies as when things become out of balance and we start to feel like we're losing control. Um, and I'm only speaking that myself. I've progressed since 1984, and I was pretty good shape until about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Now I'm not so good of shape. Why? Because I don't have balance. That's, believe it or not, that's the number one symptom that causes people to be disabled. It's not weak legs, because weak legs can be strengthened. You can make these legs carry. Even when nerves don't work, muscle memory can happen. There are copious exercises from the MS Society, from, let's see, Canadian MS Society has just a bunch of them. American, the MS Society, MS uh, .org, YouTube. Just there is a plethora of exercises for balance. All right, and balance. I've done videos. Balance is something that I've been working on for 20 years. Right, balance involves stepping forward. It involves closing your eyes and turning. See how I rock, right? You go up and down. That's balance. So much of life. You know what? Maybe I'm not in a good place to be doing a video because, I'm out of balance. I'm out of balance. So I'm trying to encourage you. Hi, Paul. I'm trying to be an encouragement, and I think I didn't pray before this. Hi, Stacy. I just not here. Uh, um, so it is help me out. In fact, every once in a while, a couple times a year, I ask you guys to step up and run the show. I'll read what you have to say, and we'll. So today's topic is balance. How we have to balance throughout our entire life. We have to physical balance. We have to do exercises to physical balance. Do I, I got a, hi, Dee Dee. I got a wide walker. Richard gave me a wide walker. It's a heavy duty wide walker, and when you don't have balance, you need something really heavy and really wide. Why? Because there's those of us who have absolutely decided that we are not going to be confined to a wheelchair. We're not going to do it. I mean, there's high list. There is a lot of people who have no choice. Uh, but while you have some sort of a choice, if you can, you saw me lift my toes, right? I showed you how to do the impossible, right? You gotta practice the very beginning step, putting things in balance, right? If you were balancing a scale, uh, uh, do you dump a load of rocks on one side and expect that to balance, or do you one step at a time? Do you do one rock at a time? All right. Then there's the adage: how do you eat an elephant? One spoon at a time. I know we're not going to eat elephants, but how do we get balance in our life? How do we you know what? And I love that, Stacy, because it's true. Um, Stacy says she doesn't have problems with balance physically, but mentally is a whole different story. And there's a saying, if you have, like, think about the camel, right? Camels are like cats in that if a camel gets his nose underneath of a tent, right, just for a peek, that camel is going to get in the tent. So by letting that off balance creep into your life mentally, uh, as far as eating, as far as letting the world control us, not setting boundaries for ourselves, for other people. By doing that, we are not the healthiest way. And Gina says she slows down so much to try to control balance. Okay, so Gina and I both have physical imbalance. All right, physical. So there is put your arms out, right, and with your eyes open, your feet hip width apart. Here, all right. This is crazy. All right. I'm not going to stand because then I won't be in the camera. What I will show you is that in order to do, let's say, balance exercises, right? You stand and you look to the left and you look up. Look to the left, look forward. Look to the right, look forward. Hip width. Am I swaying? Now the idea is that we do this and we're trying not to sway, right? You go up. Oh, I really see. When you're standing, it's really scary. So what you do is you have a point, you look up and you look forward. Look up, look forward, look down, look forward. All right, show ups. Show 'em. You guys think you got it down. All right, Gina, you know what the next stage is? We have to stand and do that. The next stage is bring your leg, let's see, close your eyes, go left, forward, right, forward. Am I swaying? I can't see. All right. Now move your feet together, right? Now, the you do this, and those of you who have access to a pool, there are people. It's good is if you get in the pool and you do that. Now, I know Stacy, since you don't have physical balance problems, it is good. It is good that you just practice this. You know, we talk about boundaries once a day. Once a day. Just you know, it's if not for yourself, you're going to run into an old lady who or an old man who's unstable and pass it forward, right? That is neurological balance exercise. All right, that's easy. That's a physical out of balance. Let's talk about the mental out of balance because it starts there. If you feel like your life is mentally out of balance, you're not going to eat right. You're not gonna, the food groups, we're supposed to balance our food. All right, you're supposed to have vegetables and fruit and carbs and meat. And you know what? When your life's out of balance, you're like, oh, I think, all right, I'm supposed to eat protein. All right, I'm gonna grab a couple nuts or a protein bar. All right, and I love what you're saying, Sarah. Stephen Covey compared to-do list to cutting wood. You must have a sharp saw, so you have to take care of yourself. I love Stephen Covey. Uh, he was on Peak Performers. I saw him give a motivational uh, speech when I was in the business world, my company Peak. But I love that. Also, they talk Zig Ziglar with, and they talked about in sales, right? You have to know your audience in order to tailor your sales technique to the audience. In life, we when we communicate with each other, if we're going to have a balanced relationship, balanced friendship, marriage, if we're going to be God's servant, we have to have some sort of balance in life. You can't grab a couple nuts and say, I'll just carry an apple with me. I'll have fruit. You can't do that and then turn around and say, you know what, I'm going to do a push up. I'm going to, because you know what, you saw how lousy my balance is, yet I can. All right, these don't really count. This is, well, yeah, they do, right? I'd rather do 100 of those, talk about balance, than, why is this not, okay, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter why. It's more fun to do one arm curl, right? It's more fun to grab a protein bar. It is it gets us out of balance, but I'll tell you what, it's more fun to do 100 push-ups than one squat. One it's balance. You know what? Ultimately, we are raw, like we're all God's children. We're all screaming little kids inside. We just are. We got to be adults to ourselves. We have to. You know what, Stacy? Let me. Stacy, email me or you know what? Message me your address because I'll tell you what, the rules that I have for, in fact, better yet, just give me your message me your email address. Everybody needs to message me their email address if you want the rules that I have for my life to stay in balance. my life was not in balance. Because you know what? They say, what do teachers do? Teachers teach what they can't do well themselves, right? It's like I can teach you how to do it, but forget it. Forget it. You know. Gina is reminding us that simplifying life makes it easier to balance the things around you. And you know, who do we have to again? What do we have to physically balance? All right. We agreed to take on life. I mean, you don't. You have no choice. All right. Excellent, Stacey. I have this bookmark that I read every day. I send it every day. But I'll tell you what. I am now reading it twice a day uh, to create. I gotta have balance, and balance starts mentally first. Before you can make a decision that you're gonna eat to sustain your life, to eat. You know, my husband said there's a study that says that most people are deficient in iodine. They used to fortify rice with iodine. Iodine was something that battles so many. It's that thyroid. It keeps you from having thyroid problems, hypothyroidism. It just helps cure. Give you an idea. What if you're exposed to radiation? They give you iodine to clean out radiation. So we have to balance what we are doing. He says iodine will help balance your desire or to no, iodine will help preserve your body, make it good for life, and will help motivate you to balance more things. Well, you know, when he's telling me, I think you need iodine because it and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh hell, I don't want to eat. I don't want to drink water anymore. You know, I just who wants to maintain a body, balance body physically when you're losing control over everything on the outside, right? On the outside. So I'm just thinking, who all right, I'm thinking out loud. I'm thinking it's you got to want to be in the game. You got to want to just keep fighting. You've got to want to set up these boundaries so that you have balance in your life, physical, emotional, mental. Because guess what? There comes a point in our life that you've had MS for so long, 37 odd years, uh, and reinventing yourself, um, taking off, just selling everything. Hi, Susan, selling everything, going, doing something madcap is no longer an option. You know, you're in a marriage, you're in a relationship, and you know you don't have a choice of asking yourself if you're happy or not. Whereas most people in a healthy marriage can sit down and go to marriage counseling or do various things. That's if we're bringing something more to the table. But as we progress with MS, our bargaining chips become less. You know, it's like you you better be good. Meet me halfway. No, you just so if you can Yeah, and Sarah, you're right. Sarah's right. Who wants to drink? We're talking about balance, physical balance is 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 drinking water. Let's do. Sometimes drinking water is a scary thing, and you know what, Sarah? I understand because it's Russian roulette. Am I going to choke on the water? I didn't, but a little bit of that water went down my windpipe, a little bit, because I only took a mouthful of water. So I understand that. So all of a sudden, you're dealing with just swallowing a mouthful of water, and meanwhile, you're trying to figure out why life seems to be drawing away from you, friends or your family, or people are just a little uncomfortable. Not little kids, and I'll tell you, not teenagers, not first they look at you and they're like, "What's wrong with you?" And you're like, "It's not." First thing you say to a little kid when they say, "What's wrong with you?" And somebody says that's rude, you say thank you. You know what? Hi, Maury. It's not rude. It's curiosity. What I have is not contagious. First thing you say to somebody that says, "What do you have?" Say, "It's not contagious." And then I can't spread this. It's good. You say that, and all of a sudden you put people as, and now they want to help you, right? If you sit there and you say, well, you always get somebody walking up to you if you're walking, and they'll say, with your walker, your wide walker, and they'll say, oh, I had my hip replaced, and I know exactly what you're feeling. I know exactly what you're feeling. My hip got replaced. It is, it, ah, ah, and you sit there and you look at them and you're like, all right, do not have a pissing contest with anybody, right? Because I know each of you will always win. Um, Sarah's marriage is definitely, marriage with MS is not a 50-50 thing. That's the way Sarah sees it. Dee Dee sees it. It is, yeah. And I see it. You notice how I've been sinking all this. All right, it's because the chair. All right, weakness. All right, let me just fix. Don't you laugh at me. Actually, I love it when people laugh at me. If you're laughing at me, I love it. I love it. If you're laughing at me, I'm laughing, and I'm filled with joy because we're all smiling. I'll tell you what, nothing will make you feel more loved or make somebody, especially in this terrible age of anger and stuff. Uh, Nothing will make send balance into an unbalanced life because more than a smile of love. And I gotta say this, it's absolutely true because you know we we feel how the earth is on not, let's see, it's out of kilter. We feel the emotions inside. We feel when somebody is hurting. I went to the gym yesterday, and my sweet my sweet little lifeguard friend, 19, she looked at me And I said, "Hi, how you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I'm all right." And she went, I'm all right. And she's like, good, like looking, and her eyes are at half staff. And I'm feeling, I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that. And we have, if you've got fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, depression, if you are out of balance with your friends, with your loved ones, uh, if you are not, you gotta have your cup filled up in order to love on others. And love comes from inside us. If we can't get in balance with the love in our marriage, if we can't get the love from our parents or our kids or our siblings, if we can't do that, and our friends, and so we can't do that, perhaps we can be the balance that other people who don't see that they're lacking balance in the world. Yeah, I'm sitting there with this little girl, and she says, I don't know whether I have a cold or allergy. She babysits little rugrats, little germ bags, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. She said, you might have gotten that. So she's standing there. She's 19. She's standing there, and I gave her a hug, and she says, "You want to hug me with this?" I said, "You know what? I'd rather die of a hug from you than live, uh, uh, than live, than live a life lack of love, out of balance. Because if we can find the balance in our life by understanding that we are made in God's image out of love, then even though the world and people are kind of looking at you thinking, you know what, your body, the way you look, everything is not not within your control. But if we can channel in that we are love and we can be love for other people, because the world is suffering right now. The world needs our love. And you know where love comes from? Love comes from those of us who have suffered, who are, we know, I know way too many people who are wildly wealthy and just what charmed lives. I just saw an interview with Melinda Gates. I thought, I want to see an interview with Melinda Gates. Getting divorced from Rich, and you know what? She was betrayed. She was betrayed by what she thought was something she can count on. And she had the class not to throw him under the bus. And she said, look, he just did a couple things that he knew I didn't want him to do. And it threw Melinda Gates' life out of balance. Right? She's like, oh my gosh, he met with Epstein. He went to the island. I met Epstein. I went there and I felt evil. This is what she said. What a classy woman. So, what did she do? Right? What do we have when our lives are out of balance? We got two choices. We can stop drinking water. I don't want to choke anymore, so I'm not drinking water. I'm not. You know what? My life's out of balance. I'm not going to eat. I can't control my marriage. I can't control I can't control anything in my life, but I can control certain things. I say we can be like Melinda Gates. We can be like her, channel in. Just because. the world is not what we thought it to be, right? We can channel and say, you know what? If I can't find stability, remember we talked about the wall? If the things I can count on are not real, then I need to cleave to my maker and recognize the love that the good qualities I have inside me so that uh, I can be part of the solution, not the problem. I can, where this little girl at the 19-year-old, she's a woman, at the pool, where I gave her a hug, and all of a sudden things were in balance for her. I'm thinking, boy, that's low hanging fruit. It is so easy. When you are struggling in life, it is so easy to go out and recognize when things aren't right. It's easy, but and Sarah says she feels like a beggar. All right, and Gina says that this is marriage. Uh, this Gina, that's wonderful. It's I know I'm not making sense. It's not like misery loves company. It is that we have to recognize when we can't balance certain things are not meant to be balanced, right? When you have MS and you are just progressing to disability, your negotiation, you're like, I work. This is what you say. All right, this is a normal marriage. This is me when I was 30, married to my pilot husband who didn't think I was good enough and hated sickness. I'd say, you know what? You're just not that into me. I think you need to go and find your joy in life. I'll be all right. I'll take my golden retriever and go. Well, the more you get, the worse you get, the more you're like, I, I'm worried just about swallowing water without choking. And you got somebody who says you're not good enough yet, and you're like, but you pay. That's okay for me. It's okay for me if you pay the mortgage, you pay. We don't worry about money because. So where's that balance? And Gina says that she always said to herself that she never wanted to need someone, but rather wanted them in her life. Now look at me. I need her. She says she needs her husband to live out life. Hey, yeah, it is. I think about it. At one point, is defining what's appropriate for the world to talk to us or to meet us at a certain level. At what point do we acquiesce? Eh, do we do that until all of a sudden it's abusive behavior? Um, Whereas, yeah, it's give an example. All right, so you are now unable. You say you turn in your keys. You're not going to drive. You're not going to drive any longer. Meanwhile, your spouse takes the car and goes out someplace and just disappears and just I don't know and runs up credit card bills or all sorts of just all of a sudden you feel like uh, I don't have control to leave the house. I don't have control to balance. This is not going on in my life, but I'm just giving you an example here. I don't have control over my spouse's spending. I don't have a control over my spouse bathing, washing clothes, wearing the same, shaving. You guess what? Nobody has control over another human being. We can only control ourselves, right? We can only create boundaries in our life that is acceptable. If say you have a spouse that's taking the car and running up credit cards, right? You need to find out what you can control. You can control yourself. You can sit. You know what? What can you do? What can you do? Uh, what can you do? You write Melinda Gates a letter, and I don't know. Does is money the source of is money the source? Hang on. All right, for some reason. All right. All right. For some reason, this is not charging up. Uh, it should be. I'm gonna have to. All right, stand by. I'm gonna try to change this setting without making it go away. All right. So let me continue. Helplessness. You know what? Lack of control. This is gonna. All right. So stand by here. All right. Oh, it's charging now. All right. Okay. What I'm saying is that lack of balance in our lives when we don't eat right, when we don't fill our cup with love, right? Um, if we only subject ourselves to the negativity, the bad things that are happening in life, uh, uh, you're being yelled at. There was a week that I didn't think anybody had anything nice to say. Well, that's not true. At the gym, there's places I go and where people are always. But I'm telling you, I got yelled at by everyone. Everyone. I only saw the witch. You see the witch with her pointy chin right there. Yeah. You see her pointy chin. All right, right there. That's the witch. All right, see her mouth right there. Anyway, um, when somebody's yelling at us, it's so important. Or they're saying, "Oh, come on, you were letting yourself get worse because you're out of balance. You're not eating right. You're not listening. I'm telling you. You gotta follow there's the keto diet. The small study shows keto diet helps people with MS. So now this is all over the place. This is MS News. You can it's the biggest thing. Just Google keto diet multiple sclerosis. You'll see, right? So here you are living life out, trying to find something you can count on, all of that, and somebody on the outside says, you're letting yourself get worse because you're not eating keto. That can, if you let it can be abusive. If you let it, if and it's not meant to be abusive. The words aren't. But if you take it in a way that you're wearing it, you're being, being pressured to do certain things. It's being pressured to cook a great meal. It's like, stop pulling at me. Uh, but again, love starts with us. When we feel our cup is half empty, the biggest way to create balance in your life is start with yourself. So get out, find the love in yourself, find, and go out, because the suffering that you have experienced in your life allows you to see pain better. It allows you to walk around. Now, it doesn't mean that we adopt and we try to rescue people who are in the pain. Uh, you can suggest, that this is what works for me. What I do is I hand these out to everybody. That's the bookmarks I made. You know what? Everybody, I'm telling you, healthy people look at this, and they look at me, and they're like, thank you, and they're looking at me like they're looking at me like I got my act together, that I'm not out of balance. Let me, all right, so. Okay. All right. So, all right, here. Do I rely on my abilities to create happiness only to be left wanting again? Classic, Gina. The classic thing that I discovered that I progressed doing is that I sit there. I like being really, really close. I like it when meeting uh, and financially things are so tight that you don't have a choice to do certain things. And the reason why I'm saying that is that I like that. The minute you have extra discretionary income, when you're declining, when you're feeling out of balance, we girls, what do? We like to go shopping. We like to go shopping. All right, and I'm going to show you because, all right, you're going to laugh at me, and you end up getting a a parachute thing because you went to physical therapy and they had you hanging and doing the exercises with this. Don't laugh at me. Don't. All right. So you end up spending $40 on this stupid polyester thing that I'm gonna hang in the tree. This is my dream. It's like, I'll do that next year. I hung it in the gym. It was so difficult. Throwing money on it. Throwing money. It's like, should I go gray because it's too expensive to get your hair colored all the or your, you know, at what point do we stop looking for things outside of our control to create balance in our life? The balance we have has to start physically, emotionally, mentally. It has got to start on the inside. I won't look to work on balancing. I've got the balancing products that if you use them, guarantee to give you balance. I've got the world's most expensive ankle foot orthotic. I've got the hip flexor assisted device. I'm getting scooter. You know what? That is because you throw money. When you have money, you throw money at things. Melinda Gates said, people think we're awesome because we belong to a group of people, ridiculously rich people who like to give away most of their money. Money that they don't need to, they don't need anyway. Money they'll never use. So she says, it's easy to give away something that has no impact on your life. It's easy. But to be a widow's mite, right? And the widow in the Bible gave it all. When you are suffering, when you're out of balance, God has given you a gift of being, knowing, recognizing out of balance people, right? So do we, if I'm talking to somebody, oh gosh, I'm telling you what, healthy, nice people. You know what? I always laugh at people who are complaining about the weather. And one day it's 72 degrees outside, and in Maryland, the next day it's 35 degrees. Everywhere I go, everywhere, people are complaining about the weather. They're like, you're going to get sick. This is bad. This is bad. If you are complaining about the weather, you've never had a real problem. You don't have real problems. It's like, it's supposed to snow in Maryland on Saturday. It's supposed to snow. It's supposed to be cold and snowy on Saturday. That's what the radar says. You know what? It's still my favorite planet. We had a well guy come in he was treating. I had him come in and trying to keep the water in balance, the chemicals in balance, because we have a well, and we tend to get hard water. So and it discolors the porcelain. So I had this guy, he came in, and and I, you know what? I don't know his name. Uh, Aaron. His name was Aaron, and he walked in. He hadn't been here in 2 years. He walked in, and I felt him. I'm sitting there, and he walks in, and he's talking to my husband and stuff. And I said, "You were here last time," because I remember the feeling. I don't remember what he said. I just remember the feeling he gave me. And all of a sudden we started talking about stuff. He was talking about things, and my husband was bantering. And I'm to the point now that the only time I seem to be talking, and the only people that are listening are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 and 12. When I go out in the world, when I say, I actually don't do a lot of talking. I listen. I listening is gives us the opportunity to really notice the pain. All of a sudden, noticing the pain healthy people have, all of a sudden minimizes the pain we have. It doesn't matter what you have. It just doesn't matter what your affliction is, whether you have MS, whether you're primary progressive MS, whether you're losing it all. Guess what? No one gets out alive. No one gets out looking like a supermodel. All right. This is all smoke and mirrors. I got my fake eyebrows on. I got my eyeliner, my contour, this is all smoke and mirrors. I'm turning into an old lady before your eyes. How important is that? You know what? When all of a sudden you realize, the older you get, the more you realize what is in balance. What's in balance? My soul is so good with God that I pray, I pray. I pray that, thank you, Susan. I pray, Susan said I'm beautiful. You know what? It's good. I pray and I, and I'm okay. And I go out and God just shows me. I pray, Lord, send me out to be an instrument of thy peace. Let me be part of the solution and not the problem. All right. Aaron, who walked in yesterday to do the well water, I remember how he made me feel. And I don't remember the conversation. And it's just like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we say. People won't rarely remember what you say. But you know what? It's the visceral. It's a visceral. It's when people walk in and you sense an ally. You always remember how people make you feel. But you know what? I've spent so much time uh, uh, forgetting the past, not worrying about the future. I've been at the gym where I've talked to people. I've developed a relationship, and all of a sudden, it's like familiarity breeds contempt. And you're talking to somebody, and all of a sudden they spew out something that is so abhorrent to you. It's like, hey, they just sacrificed their kid, and they told you that like you'd be into it, and it's like, ugh, that's just wrong. So you think of this person as an enemy, not an enemy, but somebody that, yeah, look, I'm not going to deal with you because I need joy in my life. I don't want. So you've created that, and then all of a sudden you go to the gym years later, and this person is now doing a different exercise, and comes in and smiles at you and says, "Hi, hi," and I don't know. You forget you forget that this is a kitten sacrificing demon of a person, because the guy is now leading with a smile. He's leading with love. And Jesus says, you know what? I'm going to give you a disease. It's going to rob you of memory that this guy sacrifices kittens, and he's a demon. I'm going to let you love the unlovable because you're going to forget that that person's unlovable. That's what keeps our marriages healthy, right? Because it's what the key to happiness is: good health and short-term memory problems, right? Okay, now I'm reading. Uh, Susan, you know what? You're awesome. And Gina, she just says inside and out. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke. It's all smoke and mirrors. My balance comes from the Lord and comes from you, Susan, Gina, Dee Dee, uh, 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 my Sarah. I think where's Jane, and Maureen and Bev, and just, if I haven't mentioned your name, and everybody who's watching, if I haven't mentioned your name, it's I please forgive me, because you are the reason why we keep going. All right, how do you keep going when life's out of balance? You become the balance. You let God make you see The things you can count on. Can you count on, in fact, can you count on chocolate cake tasting good your whole life? Guess what? Chocolate cake will never taste as good um, as it did when you were 5 years old. Chocolate cake. All right. So, uh, and Gina reminds us that we have two ears and one mouth, and the Bible says that the most evil part of the human body is the tongue. So better. It's better to remain. There's a saying. It's better to be quiet and be thought of as a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. So I'm putting out there. I'm putting it out there. I am willing to be foolish. Anyway, I'm willing. And Gina's reminding us, lean on God for balance. If we look in ourselves and look, where does the balance start from? Uh, uh, if we cleave to that balance, if we allow God to use us to inspire other people who are suffering more so than, I mean, you can't have a pissing contest with them, right? You can't do it because you can stand there and look at them and they say, you look like you're doing great, and you just start pissing, right? Forgive me. You gotta be quick to smile, quick to giggle. It's like we can always win. All right, invisibles, invisibles, people without disabilities that are out there. You can just. I know what you're going through. I know you're fatigued. I've been there. I just because we look great doesn't mean all systems are working. Maybe you're in pain. Maybe you're exhausted. Maybe you've got balance, but you have paresthesia. You can't fit. You got Lermit signs. You got Babinski's reflex. You have ataxia. But most people are so concerned with themselves that don't recognize when the world's out of kilter. Um, and all right, all right, all right. And Susan, that really means a lot to me because this is why I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday when I feel like I may not want to drink water because I can't count on that. But what I can count on is what I can be is concrete, dependable for you guys. As long as God has me drinking water, or as long as take all my control away from me. But I promise you, Susan, I know in Colorado, if you needed me in Colorado for some wild emergency, I drive. All right, I find someone to drive me. No, I would drive myself when I get my car back. And I go there, but there's every single one of you watching. Uh, it's not my show. This is your show. It it's me taking my soul out of my body, right? God taking my soul out of my body and looking like James 4:14. It says, if we live like we're part of the mist, we're vapor here today, gone tomorrow. Then all of a sudden we go forward and we look at the MS cloud, right? And then different clouds. You've got primary progressive clouds. You got all right. That is a tar baby, fire patch tar baby. So you if you look around and you realize that we will get our strength from concrete places. When life's letting you down, when chocolate cake doesn't taste that good anymore, when husbands and wives are not getting along, when all this takes place, it's so important that we lean into God. All right, and Susan, when I have to miss, all right, because that you know what, and that's thank you, Dee, for saying that. You know what, and you all inspire me. You all inspire me. I love it when you're here, and you know the greatest form of love is when you trust somebody so much that you take advantage of them. It's the greatest and it's the nastiest. It's what hurts marriages. It's what hurts relationships. You know, when you come home and your dog sees your dog's tail wags, they're happy to see you. After a while, it's like, is anybody happy to see me? Do I require people to be there in order to be there for them, right? Like Susan, if I required you to be here in order for me to do my what I deem is acceptable as necessary, I wouldn't do it. How but I'd rather do this, be somebody a concrete, someone you can count on to walk with you through this struggle, than I would. I just then I would take care of myself, right? So it's James 4:14. If you're part of the cloud, you're loving the cloud. All of a sudden, you can work together as a cloud, and as a cloud, we can decide that we need to rain on this garden. We have to spread our love, and we can do it together when we strengthen each other. We find the concrete things we can depend on, and you know, to show up. To show up. Why do I do this? I do this because it's a commitment to you, and to have a forum where Dennis is saying that everybody is supporting each other. It's the safe zone, right? Fortifying yourself for the weekend to get out and be a beautiful flower. It's gonna snow on Sunday or Saturday. It's supposed to do that. You know what? I think I'm gonna swim. I don't know. I don't know what. In fact, I don't know what's gonna do. But I damn well know that I'm gonna go out and like God guide my steps. And I'm praying, Heavenly Father, may may you just guide everyone's steps. May you make it just make it obvious that we can see the concrete, the things that are stable in our life, and we can build on that love. And Lord, we need, I know we need to rise above what's going on in society, what's going on inside of us, what's going on to us through other people, through the things we don't like. The only thing that we can see obviously is the love that you have for us through the things you bring our way. And thank you for bringing everybody to this MS Live, and bless them and comfort all of them. In Jesus' name I give thanks. Amen. I love you all, and let's see, we have gone a lot longer than normal. I love y'all, and I will see you. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday. God bless you. God bless.